Hi guys, in the last video we have studied how to use keyboard interaction. So from this video we are going to make a simple game. As you can see, so apples and bombs are dropping and you have to move the character left to right to gathering the apples while escaping the bombs. To make this game you have to use image file for background image and icons, the apple or bomb image too. Also, you have to take care of all the items. So there are so many items on the screen. So you need to use array data type. It's very simple, but it's different from the normal array. So from now on, let's take a look at how to make this kind of games. So let's make a game. So first of all, let's use image file. So in this code, you can move the image file using the mouse dragging, right? So mouse opposite. If you move the mouse, at that point, the apple image will be drawn. So let's use image file. So let's use the image. So we are going to start dynamic program mode. So void setup and void draw. To use the image file, you have to declare some variables as image data type, which is p-image. So here the so p-image. So here p and I should be capital. So p-image data type is used for image files. So after declaring the image, you need to use the image. You need to load from the disk. So in this case, we can use load image function. Be careful, the image, the I should be capital, and you need to use some image file, kind of apple dot. I'm going to use png file. And if you save this file, let's save this one. I'm going to save game 01 version. So if you save these files, let's go to the folders. So if you go to the folders, where is that? So you just go to, maybe I have saved this here. Oh, not. So I think I have saved the file here in document, and there's processing folder. Here, game 01, right? So in this folder, you have to make a folder which has the name as data. So in the data folder, you have to keep all the data files, kind of image file, sound file, kind of. So if you say load image in apple png file, if you want to use apple.png file, you have to save this file in this folder, data folder. So then how to make the image file? If you have any image tools, image program, kind of Paint Pro, Photoshop Pro, Illustrator, you can use that. But if you're not used to drawing the image, I recommend to use this site, pixelart.com. So you can sign up, or you can just use this file, this site. So after clicking site drawing, you can say a new drawing. So you can draw something, right? Or you can fill something with some colors, kind of. After finishing, after making your own file, you can save drawing or you can download it. If you click save drawing button, it will be saved on a cloud. So if you want to download, just click the file menu and download, right? And if you download, if you press this download button, you can see this file, right? So you have to save this file where? Data folders, right? So I already making my file. So in the data folder, I have this file. In some case, if you check this one, file extension, if you remove these things, you cannot see the extensions. So if you want to make sure, you need to check the file extension button and checkbox, and you have to check this file. Sometimes the file name is kind of has some capital letter or lowercase underscore. It will be kind of some problems in loading the files. So take a look at the file name carefully. So let's go to my source code. Yeah, here it is. So after loading the image file, you can draw the image using image function. So image function needs some parameters. The first parameter should be image itself. So here the image variable has this image using the load image function. The second and third parameter would be the left top corner of the image. So I'm going to draw 0, 0, which means the left top corner of the canvas. And then let's run this code. Oh, it's too small, so I'm gonna open my canvas into 600, 900, and let's rerun it. So if you run this code, the image was drawing 0, 0, right? Let's code some code in draw function too. Let's clear the background first, 255, and let's draw image. This image where mouse X and mouse Y. And let's run it. So if we run this code, you can see this program, but it's kind of weird. So the left top corner is the mouse X and mouse Y. If you want to draw at the center, so if you want to draw at the center the apple image, you have to use some other function in a setup function, which is image mode. So in this image mode function needs one parameter. If you give one kind of center, let's take a look at. See the difference. So if you change the image mode to the center, the image will be drawn at the right point. So the mouse point is the center of the image. I think that's much more reasonable. And in some case, if you give two more parameters here, 400, 400, that's the image size. So the first 400 is image width. The second 400 number will be image height. So if you run this code, the image is much bigger than, right? Okay. Now let's make a character player, and let's move the character using the keyboard arrow keys. So I'm gonna change the variable name into player, and we need another variable, kind of int x pos and y pos. You can use float data type for the x pos and y pos. That doesn't matter. It's up to you. And after loading these images, I'm going to change this thing into player, and I have the image like that. I already make two images. The first one is left image, which when you press the left arrow key, and right PNG, you're going to use this file when you press the right arrow button key. But in this case, I'm going to use just one image. Later we can add on. And we need to change this variable to as a player. I'm going to use that later. So let's initialize the x pos and y pos. X pos will be starting at the center. Y pos will be height minus 50 because the image size will be 100. And we are using the image mode center, so the image is a little higher than the bottom. And let's delete this one. We're going to use later. So I think that's it for the setup function. Let's go to the draw function. After background clearing, I'm gonna draw player first, and let's use keep pressed function. So if key pressed, we have to move the character. So let's use if statement. If key equal coded for the special letter character, no, coded, yeah. If key code equal left, else if key code equal right. So we are gonna this will be better for visualizing. we have to move the character into left, right? 10 pixel if possible. And if expose is larger than, no, less than 0, if you hit the left word, you have to change the expose into 0. And if you press the right arrow key, you have to move expose plus equal to the right. And if expose is larger than width, right? Expose should be width. I think that's it. There are so many closing curly bracket here. So let's run this code. There's no error here. Oh, it's stupid. I didn't change this one. So let's draw the image 100 by 100. Oh, I'm using the X mouse size still. So I have to change this thing expose, this thing Y pose. So let's see what it happens. So if you, yeah, it worked. But so if you press the left arrow keys, it's slow. That's because we are now using key press function. As I told you in the previous video, the key press function will run just for one time when you click the key. So when you are making a game, I recommend you to use key pressed variable instead. So in a draw function, if key pressed, you have to do something, right? In this case, there is easy way to do this. Let's change this function name, player kind of move, and let's call player move here. So that's the difference. Let's change the key press function into a new function, and let's call the function draw function whenever if key pressed. So if you press the key, the player move function will be run like this. That's a big change. So this is program. So when you hold the key, yeah, see, that's so quite easy to run. Later, next time, we can use one more image. So we are now using the left image only. So let's now change it to use right image too when you press the right arrow. Let's change this code to use the right image too. In this case, you can make one more variable, kind of, but there is a better way to do this. So don't use just the Scala one variable. You can use array variable. So this player here is an array variable, and the size will be number 2. So p image 0 is left image, p image 1 it will be right image. So in this case, you have to remember the direction. So if you press the left arrow, the direction variable will be 0. And if you press the right arrow, the direction variable will have number 1. So this direction variable will be used the index for the player array variable. Okay, so after loading this image, you have to use player 0. So player 0 will be left image. Let's copy this one. And player number 1 will be right image. So as I told you, in a data folder, I already have left PNG and right.png too. So expose y pose will be same, and you need to initialize direction variable into 0. So this direction variable will be used later as an index for the player array variable. So let's go down. So there is a red underline here. Oh yeah, I have to give the direction. So as I told you, currently the direction variable has 0, right? So player 0 image. So the left image will be drawn. I think that will be it, but in this case you have to change this. When you click the left key, you have to change the direction variable into 0 like that, if you press the right arrow, you have to change the direction value into number 1. I think that's it. If you run this code, you can see this thing. So if you click the left, if you click the right, yeah, that's it. Now it's time to make a lot of items. But thing is, so you have to take care of a lot of items, right? In this case, you might think you need to use array data type. Yes, you can use array data type, but thing is, the problem is, if some item touches the ground, it has to disappear, and new item will be generated automatically, and then it touches ground, it disappears. So the array size is not static. The array size should be dynamically changeable, right? So in this case, I recommend you to use Arraylist. So let's see. So if you go to the processing document, so data section, there are several kind of data element, data type. So as you know, the integer data type, float data type, color data type, right? Or Boolean data type. This data type is called primitive data type, which means really simple, basic primitive. And the other thing is composite data type. So among composite data type, you have learned how to use array data type. But in this video, I recommend you to use Arraylist. So the thing is, Arraylist stores variable number of objects. So if you declare array variable, the size, the length of array is static, not changeable. But if you use Arraylist, the Arraylist stores variable number of objects. You can add on, you can delete. It's really easy. So let's click Arraylist data type. So in the description, you can read this one. So Arraylist stores variable number of objects. So Arraylist is a resizable array implementation of Java list. So as I told you, processing is a Java language, right? So Arraylist is resizable array. So you need to use this Arraylist to make a bullet or items in a game. So let me explain more clearly. So this is where we are now. So we can move the player using keyboard, and you have to make a items which is dropping from the sky. So look at the right side. So in this canvas, if you click somewhere, the new item will be made and it will dropping to the ground. Yes. So we have to make this kind of things, and we will integrate all of this. So you can move the player, and the item will be dropping from the sky. So for this, maybe you can think you need a kind of array variable like this. Int array item equal new int kind of 10, which means we are gonna store 10 items. But the thing is, let's think about that. So the item has to have two values. One is x coordinate and the other is y coordinate too. So maybe you can think you can use two arrays. The first one is item x and the second thing is item y, right? So item x variable has the x coordinate and item y will has y coordinate. But the thing is, so the number of items will be 10, right? So if you make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that's fine. But after making 10 items, from the 11th items, how to save the x and y coordinates, 11th, 12th, 13th? It's hard because the array is a static, which means the number of items in the array is static, cannot be changed. So that's why we need a new data type, Arraylist. So we are going to learn how to use Arraylist, because Arraylist is the number of Arraylist elements can be changed dynamically. It's changeable. So we can add, we can delete. That's so easy. That's one problem. The second problem, for the items, you have to make two arrays, two very similar arrays. It's not good. So we have to use some vector informations. So in this case, we need p vector data type. So before making the game, let's use how to use p vector data type and Arraylist data type too. As I told you, to save the x and y coordinate of the items, you have to declare two array variables, right? So the item x will store x coordinate and item y will store y coordinate too. That's not good. So in this case, you can use p vector data type. So I'm going to tell you how to use this p vector data type. Okay. So p vector is a new class, new data type, and I'm going to declare a variable as a p vector class, and I need to make an instance, and you can give two numbers, kind of. So let's see, 1 and 2. I want to explain what this means. So if you print line the a variable, let's see the console. So let me run this one. So a variable is this. Actually, if you go to the processing.org, so p vector is a class to describe 2 or 3-dimensional vectors. So later you are going to learn 3D graphics using processing. So on 2D you need two coordinate x and y. On 3D you need 3 coordinate x, y, and z, right? So if you declare a variable as a p vector type, you can store 2 or 3 variables. So normally it saves 3 variables. So if you give this kind of 1 to 1, you can store 3 variables, 3 values in one variable. So a variable can store 3 values as a vector. So in this case, we are making a 2-dimensional game. In that case, you can give just 2 numbers. So the first number will be x, the second number will be y. So you can access each element with the dot notation. A dot x means the first number, a dot y will be the second number. So if you run this one, so a dot x equal 1.0, so a dot y will be 2.0. So with only one variable, you can store vector information. So which means 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional values. Also, you can access each element with a dot notation, kind of a dot x plus assignment 10, kind of a dot y plus assignment to 10. And let's print the coordinate values. See, first of all, as in the beginning, the x and y is 1 and 2, but after modifying their values each other, you can see the difference, right? 1.10, 2.10. Also, there is another way to modify this p vector data. So let's use this a is a variable name dot. You have some method to add. So if you give 2 numbers using this p vector class 10.10. So what this means, this is kind of call of method of p vector class. So a is a p vector variable. This has add method. So in this method, you have to give a p vector values using this new keywords. So new p vector of 10, 10 means you are going to make a new vector. The first element will be 10 and second element will be 10. So after adding 10, 10, if you print out the a values, you can see the difference. So this is current vector a, p vector a. So you can add 10 and 10 each one to each one. You can see the modified new values. if you are really new to the class kind of object-oriented programming, it might be a little harder to understand. In the case, just to remember, P vector is a data type which can store vector information, which means 2D or 3D information. So in this case, we can save x and y coordinate in just one variable. And using this dot notation, you can access each element. So a.x is the first element, a.y will be second element. And you can change each element by element, or you can change every items using this add method. Yeah, so now let's make these things, which means we are going to learn what is the array list data type. So let's make the dynamic probe mode, which means setup and draw function 2. We are gonna declare an array list variable. So array list is a data type, and we are gonna use items. So these items will be array list data type. I'm gonna tell you how to use this data type, and we are gonna use kind of P vector. You have learned what the P vector means, and the thing is this kind of angle bracket. Is this right? So these things, yeah, I know it's getting harder. So this kind of angle bracket means a generic data type. It's really quite difficult issues. But anyway, so these items will be array data type, array list data type, and that's kind of element. Each element data type should be P vector. So which means the items will be kind of array, and each element of this array will be P vector data type. It's hard, so let me go. Okay, I'm gonna use flow list data type 2 for the speed of the elements. The speed of elements. Let's go to the processing.org. So if you come here, you can see array list data type. So array list data type stores a variable number of objects. So this is quite important. So it can store a large number of objects, and the number of objects can be variable. So it's kind of array, but the size of array can be variable. Also, you can see the float list, and array list and flow list is similar, but array list can store any kind of composite data type, and flow list can store just float data type. So okay, let me keep going. And in the setup function, you are going to open the canvas as usual, 600, 900. And so for the items, let's use init item function. Init item function, which means this is a usual defined function. So I'm gonna declare init item functions. What do you have to do? You have to initialize the items variable. We can do this. New array list. This is generic data type, so the element should be P vector. Oh yeah. Actually, this kind of thing is called class constructor. So with this statement, the items has been initialized. And then let's use speed variables too. A new float list. So this same. This float list is a constructor of the float list data type. So that's it for the initialization. And then in our draw function, we are going to move. So the item should be falling down, right? So we are going to use update items function, and we are going to use draw items function called to, which means we need to make those two functions. Void update items and void draw items too. So let's go to the updated items. So what to do? Oh, also we have to make one more thing. So if you press the mouse somewhere on the canvas, you can make the items. So let's make the mouse press function, and we're gonna make the something. So if you press somewhere, the new item will be generated and it will be inserted in the items array list. So items. So you can use add function of the items, and as you learn, new p vector and mouse x and mouse y. So what this statement means? So with this statement, u p vector something, so new vector object will be made, which has mouse x value and mouse y values. It will be inserted in the array list. Finally, we have one element, items array. And then we have to set the speed too. So speed. So I mean the array list and flow list is similar, but to add some element to the array list, you need to use add function, add method. And float list data type, you have to use append method. That's kind of similar but different names. And we're gonna give the random speed 5 to 10. I think that's it. So with this function call, new items will be generated and it will be inserted in this array. Then let's draw the items. To draw the items, we can use for statement, so which is int I equals 0. I is less than items dot size. So this size method will return the number of elements of the array list. So I plus plus, and in a for loop you can draw, right? So let's make p vector class item will be items get I. So this is another thing. So array list data type has get method which will return the ith element. So after getting the ith element, you can use those items for the ellipse function call. So items x will be x coordinate and item y will be y coordinate. And for the rates, let's use 30. I think that's it. Before draw items, let's fill the color into 0. Yeah, I think that's it. So in draw function, you can draw the items here, right? And then the item should be falling down and it'll be implemented in an update items functions. So let's copy all these things to here. And I'm gonna use from I equals 0 and size p vector will be, and we need to use item dot y because it will be falling down, plus assignment speed dot get I. That's same. And if the item touch the ground, we have to delete that. So if item.y is larger than height, which means if it touch the ground, the item should be removed. The ith element will be removed. And speed variable remove 2. I think that's it. We need to delete that thing. So let me be clear. So in setup function, the item should be initialized using this constructor. And draw functions, the item will be moved and it will be drawn. So update items for each element of the array list, it should be change the y coordinate, and if it touch the ground, it will be removed. And draw item will be similar. I think I'm done. Let me run this code. So let's see. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't clear the background. So draw function, let's clear the background white colors. So I think I'm done. Yeah, I know the array list data type, flow list data type is hard to understand. If you need some more information, you need to Googling or come to Processing-Level-3-04-make, and you can see the p vector, or you can see the array list data type and float list data type too. Maybe this kind of example will help you. Okay, this will be final. So from now on, we are gonna combine all of the things to make this one. So the item should be generate random place and random sequence. So let's do it. So until now we have made the player only. So we can move the player using the keyboard. Okay, so we have to make the items. Let's be more clear. So we are gonna draw the background image too. So here p image. So we need use background image, and we need a BOM image too, and item image too. So we need 3 kind of images. For this I have made all these images. We are now using 2 player images. So we need apple, this is item, and we need the BOM image, and we have the background image too. So all these variable is for those things. And we need, as I told you in previous, we need array list. So we need array list for the items, which is generic type, which will store p vector data type for the items, right? So we need float list for the speed. So I didn't tell you, but the float list data type will store float data type, and array list type can store kind of every data type which is from the class. So this is for the generic data type. So this items data type value can store p vector element. This is for items. We need a BOM too. Array list p vector and BOMs. Oh, sorry. Yeah. And we need score variables too. Score variable too. Yeah. And setup function, let's go down to the setup function. Score variable should be initialized into 0. And what do you have to do? And let's load the background and item and BOM image too. So I'm gonna copy and paste here. So item image will be loaded and background image will be loaded. There is background image. There is a type here. So background image will be loaded and BOM will be loaded too. And let's use init items. So we are gonna make init items function here. Void init items. How to initialize that? So first of all, items should be initialized using the new keyword and Arraylist function call. But this should be generic data type, which can p vector, and speed list should be initialized using float list constructor, and bomb should be initialized to using Arraylist data type 2. That's the init items. Speed, there's error. Speed, yeah, speed element. And I think that's it for the setup function. And then what you have to do? So you have to draw the background image first. So we are going to use the image function to draw the background. And do you remember, currently the image mode is center. So you have to give the center of the image. So that's why I have to give width divided by 2 and height divided by 2. That's the center. And width height is the image width and image height. So after drawing the background, you have to implement some of items. So we are going to use add item function and then update items and draw items too. Maybe you can guess what these functions are about. So we have to implement all these three functions. So here it is. So we have to implement this. So let's go to the add items. And so we have to add the items when you, oh no, what am I doing? So for int I equals 0 and I is less than items size and I plus plus, and for block. For each item from the items array list, using the items get method call, we can get the ith element from the items array list. So items get method will return the ith element. And what am I doing? I'm sorry, this is for draw items. So let's delete this one and move here. So let's draw items first. So after getting the ith element from the items array list, we can draw the item image and add items x and items y, and the size diameter will be 30 and 30. So that's for drawing items. So we have to draw the bomb too. So I equals 0 and I is less than bomb's size and I plus plus and bracket. And that's the same for the items. So p vector and bomb, and from the bombs array list, getting the ith element of bomb, and we have to draw bomb image at the bomb.x and bomb.y with same size, same size. I think that's it for the draw items. And now let's make the add item functions. So items should be generated from up the sky. So items.add for the array list. We are going to make a new vector object using new keyword and random point. And the items should be falling from up the sky. So for the y value, we can use random 0 to 100. That's the y coordinate, right? And speed already it will be same, but speed is float list, so you have to use append method rather than add method. So for the parameters, random 1, 3. For the last, bombs array list should be added to. So Victor, the same for the items array list. Random 0, 100. I think that's it for the error item. So we finished draw items too. So let's go to the update items. So you can copy all this code to the update items. And then let's change a little more. So to update the item, you have to change the item.y coordinate only. So it should be edit assignment space get ith element. And let's delete this line. And then let's go to the oh yeah, you have to check whether the item touched the ground. If item's y is larger than height, we need to remove ith element. And we also need to remove the speed ith element too. Let's go to the bombs. That will be same. So after deleting this line, you have to move the bomb's y coordinate too. So bomb the y plus assignment, no, plus, because we don't have any speed list for the bomb. If you want, you can make it. And let's check the, yeah, if bomb.y is larger than height, it should be removed too. So bombs remove ith element. I think that's it. Let's run this code. Oh, there are a lot of bombs and apples up the sky. So we need to control the speed of add items. So let's go to the draw function. In processing, there is another system variable which is called frame count. So you can use those that variable. So you can use if statement here. If frame count modulo 3. So this frame count is system variable. So frame count modulo 3 equals 0, which means at every 30 frames we are gonna add item. So that's the way how to control the speed. Is this okay to you? Let's make the draw score function too, because it is simple. We are gonna use text function to draw the text information on the score on the screen. Score will be plus score variable and 2020. Yeah, that's the position. And the last one is collision. Collision detection. Oh no, check collision. Collision detection. Collision detection will be better for me. So collision detection. Okay, let's do this. For each element, I is less than items size and I plus plus. So that's same. P vector items dot get ith element. And what I have to do? We have to move the item, right? So item dot y plus equal, no, what am I doing? And we need to check the collision. So if, you know that this function, right? If distance is less than 40, because the item, let's go to draw item. So items should be 30, and the players is, where is that? Yeah, here, player move. Player's image size should be, no, where's that? Player move. We don't draw the player. Oh yeah, player is 100. I think it's too big. Yeah, anyway, this is 100, and item is, where's draw item? I'm sorry. Then the half of that is 50, kind of 70. 50 plus, yeah, less than, that means that's a collision, right? Then fill, no, use, no, score plus, and then items remove as element, that's it. So let's check the point. So one point should be item X, item Y, and the other point is X pos, Y pos. So we are getting the distance from the player to the item. If that distance is larger than the sum of diameter of each one. I think I'm done. That's the collision detection for the items. So we need more code for bomb collision here. Oh, it's hard. So let's play the game. So here's the apple. Let's eat the apple. The score 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think I'm almost done. And we need some kind of infection at the right time of collision. So use fill ff 00, which is red, and we're gonna draw the ellipse where X pos, Y pos. Let's draw a big yellow circle. So let's run this code once again. Oh, yeah. See, but right now the bomb collision is not implemented yet, so you have to make the code for bomb collision by yourself. It's your job. So how was that? I think for the array list or flow list, it might be harder too. Sorry about that. And in the next video, we are gonna use the audio file, so play some sound to give the sound effect to this game. Okay, see you.